and welcome to the Divorced Women's Guide podcast, where we talk about the things us divorcees are thinking, but not always talking about, as we turn our divorce into the best gift we've ever been given. And I do so with a little bit of sass and a whole lot of class. I am your host, Wendy Sterling, founder of the Divorce Rehab. I am here to support you in this transition phase of your life so you can start your new best chapter on your own terms. After all, that's what I did after my own divorce. And now it is my mission to change the conversation around divorce and help you see why your divorce, like mine, was the best gift you ever received. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Divorced Women's Guide podcast. I am so happy that you have joined me today, and I'm really excited to share more with you guys today about an energy modality of healing that I have been so incredibly interested in and fascinated by, and it's called ThetaHealing, and that's THETA healing. So when my ex and I got separated and then obviously eventually got divorced, the papers being signed didn't really have much of an effect on me. And I say that to you guys because I feel like so many of us, when we are going through the process, we think that, oh, once those papers are signed, it's going to be done and I'm going to feel so much better. And, truth bomb at the beginning of this episode, guys, is that it doesn't always have that type of an effect on everybody, especially if you think it's going to, it just may not. And so I initially had thought that that was going to be my ticket to final healing, right? Finally feeling like the cord was cut. And because he and I were and are Jewish, we also had to get a divorce in the eyes of God. And in Judaism, there's something called a get, which is a Jewish divorce. And we went ahead and had that ceremony conducted. And while I felt a massive release, more so in my lungs, so it enabled me to feel like I could breathe a lot more deeply, I still had this feeling that there was a deeper connection between us, something that involved past lives on a soul level, and it's something that I do believe in. And it is also something that I have been told by multiple energy healers and people that I've done work with in the past, where they've told me that he and I have been connected in multiple past lives. And ultimately, this was the life where I was going to teach him the lesson. And while I had done all of this energy work with healers, and most of it was in the form of Reiki healing, it did have amazing benefits, but I noticed that they were a little bit more short term, and it wasn't having quite the severing effect that I was hoping for. Until one day, as usual, the universe works in mysterious ways, right? And it explains everything when it gets revealed. But I was at a mastermind and I met somebody who is a theta healer. And I remember saying to her, what the heck is theta healing? And so I asked if we could have a call because I wanted to learn more about her practice. And I've always been really fascinated by all different types of spiritual healings. And I've always been highly intuitive. And it's something that I'm always interested in learning more and also having new techniques done to me, especially if I thought that it was something that was going to help me moving forward and also something that I thought would benefit my clients as well. And so when she and I talked, I explained to her what I felt was going on with me, what it was that I had done in the past, to sort of work through some of these emotions. But I explained to her that, I couldn't explain it, but I still had this deep level connection with my ex that I couldn't explain, and that I could still feel him and the pain on a subconscious level that didn't get healed with anything else that I was doing. And now it wasn't that it was paralyzing me and that it was preventing me from moving on. It was just at these random times, I would just start feeling him in just like dark ways, if that makes sense. And so I asked if that was something that perhaps she and Theta Healing could support me in, and she said yes. So we decided that what would be best would be to do a 2-day session with each other. And little did I know at the time the big impact it was going to have on my life. And so when we began our session, we did a lot of work together, but the biggest piece that had the largest impact on me was when she started talking to me about something called soul fragments. So soul fragments are pieces of essential life force energy that get lost during intense emotional relationships or encounters. And she started to explain to me that typically they get exchanged on what's called the history level. And the history level is one of 4 belief levels in Theta Healing. But that was the level that is most concerned with memories from past lives or deep genetic memory that have been carried into the present, which was very much where I knew my connection to my ex still was. And one of the things that she pointed out to me was that the energies on this level, yes, they get to be resolved, but they're not looking to be deleted because they're still important learning experiences. And so, just to go a little bit deeper into what these soul fragments mean is that when any of us are involved in a romantic relationship, and obviously having been with my ex for 22 years, married for 15, we definitely shared and developed some DNA together, and there are pieces that I left with him, there's pieces that he left with me. And so there is an exchange that gets to happen because, if you guys are anything like me, I gave a lot of myself in my marriage. And I knew that there were a lot of fragments that he still kept. And I believe that there were still some that I had of his, but mostly I just wanted us to have our own fragments back. And I really believed that the soul fragments were the reason that I still felt so deeply connected to this man. And it didn't matter how much work I had done, I still couldn't have that break from him energetically. So I know some of you, because you've shared with me that you have these times where it's like you're still thinking about them, or you don't necessarily understand why they or their actions are still impacting you. And so I thought it was important to talk about this because soul fragments may be the reason why you still feel that connection. And I can tell you that that was absolutely what I was experiencing. And you all know I did so much work on myself, and it worked, right? Like I moved on, I created this new life, but there were still some days where I just felt him, right? And it could have been on days where maybe he had sent me an email and said something that it was just something deep inside me that was just getting stirred. And there's another place that I was also still feeling connected to him, and that was in a scar that I have on my upper chest. So about 5 years ago, I had a freckle on my chest that started to look really funky. And I'll never forget, we were sitting at lunch, and it was a lunch that we were at for my youngest son's preschool graduation. And my ex-husband's dad was sitting across the table from me, and he noticed my freckle. And all of a sudden, he looked at me and he goes, "What the heck is that? You need to go get that checked out." And while I knew he was right, I was really scared because I didn't want to know what I thought was true, which was that it was the beginning stages of skin cancer. And I'm getting goosebumps right now, even just telling the story. And so obviously I went to the doctor, went to the dermatologist, and they did a biopsy, and indeed it was melanoma. And thankfully I caught it early enough, or I should say my former father-in-law caught it early enough, where they were able to remove all of it with a safe, uh, you know, uh, they call it like a radius around it, so that it wouldn't be able to, they got everything out that they were supposed to. And the scar is actually, it's a straight line across my upper chest. And it is a scar that is still there. It is a scar that you can see. And it's one that I've put a lot of skincare on, trying to minimize the scar of it. But, the shape of it, like I said, is a line. And one day when I was working with my Reiki healer, she felt, she had her hand right on that spot, and then she had her hand as well underneath my back, where I believe my kidneys were. And all of a sudden, I felt this deep heat radiating out of my chest and my back. And I expressed to her that I was feeling this pain. And she asked me, she didn't know about my scar. She asked me if I had one. And I slowly pulled down my shirt a little bit and showed her the line. And she goes, "That's your sword wound." And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "That is the sword wound of your ex breaking your heart in multiple past lives." And I'm getting full body goosebumps again as I'm telling the story, because I knew she was right. And the reason I knew she was right was because anytime my ex would be up to something or pissed me off, randomly, you guys, I would start feeling like this pain in my scar. And I did talk to my dermatologist about it, and he said that that was something that, was definitely common as the scar was healing within the first year. But this was something that was happening, this happened 5 years ago. And this was happening more than a year after my surgery. And so I knew that she was telling me that this was my link. This was how I knew that I was still feeling my broken heart. And the only way that I knew that he was up to something, right, or that there was some deeper connection between the two of us, I knew it because I felt it in the pain of my scar.
Hey, it's Wendy here with a quick break from the conversation. Are you somebody who wants to silence those negative voices inside your head, create healthy boundaries, and find your true voice and identity to create a life you design instead of feeling stuck with the one that you have? I want that for everybody going through divorce, and that's why I created the Divorce Rehab. So if you're ready to move to the other side of divorce more quickly with accountability and tough love, and you want to create your next best chapter, keep listening. I'm inviting you to learn how to start setting boundaries with your ex today. It is so crucial for your sanity and self-worth. So if that's something that you're struggling with, please go to wendysterling.net/boundaries to watch my free webinar today. And now let's get back to the show.
And so when I was talking to my friend who's the Theta healer, I asked her if we could potentially work on that area specifically. And that, clearly there was something going on with my heart at the time. And so we worked to not only exchange one another's soul fragments, but she also had this beautiful crystal that she had, in her possession, that she had gotten at a really special store somewhere in Europe, that she wanted to do some work on me with. And you guys, no joke, when we were doing this work together, all of a sudden I felt a physical spark, like a jolt of electricity in my heart. And so did she. And it was something, I'm getting goosebumps again. It was something that never happened to her before, and clearly was something that never happened to me. And I have to tell you guys that I have felt free of him and having that deep energetic connection to him since that exact moment and day. And I knew that this type of healing was something out of the ordinary and something that I wanted to learn more about and to start using in my practice. So what exactly is Theta Healing? Well, Theta Healing was founded by Viana Stibble and is a technique that focuses on thought and prayer. And it really teaches us how to put to use our natural intuition and really relying upon the unconditional love of what in Theta Healing we call the creator of all that is to do the work. And many of you know that, my greatest gift is my intuition. It is something that I bring into my Facebook group when we're doing workshops or we're doing support groups. And I also obviously bring it into my practice with all of my clients. And with Theta Healing, it actually enables me to really tap deeper into that intuition. And with Theta Healing, it really is a meditational process that actually creates physical and psychological and spiritual healing that comes with focused prayer that is done through Creator or universe, spirit, God, whatever it is that you call that higher divine being. And when I connect with the creator of all that is, my brainwaves go into what's called a theta state of mind, which is really a place that is believed to be where you create anything and everything and are able to change reality instantly. And you can actually watch the creator of all that is create instantaneous physical and emotional healing. And it is something that has changed my life and the life of many others whom I have the privilege of working with and also family members. And so that theta state is really that place you go when you're in very deep relaxation. It's used in hypnosis and during REM sleep, which is, the dream state. And it really can be thought of as your subconscious. And they hold memories and sensations, and they also govern our attitudes and beliefs and behaviors. And it's really a state of mind where you act below the level of the conscious mind. And so, what happens in a theta healing session? Well, so when I go about doing a session with any of my clients, I always ask permission to connect to their energy, right? Because I don't have that, if I don't have that permission, I can't do the work. And then I get specific with my clients around what it is that they want to work on. And, typically if they're not sure, I will ask them a bunch of different questions to get to the root of what it is that they want us to work on. And the theta healing technique has been used to address a wide variety of physical and emotional issues. And, a typical appointment can include an intuitive scan, it can include belief work, as well as healing. And then I also teach my clients how to use muscle testing and to see what beliefs they have that trigger an area that they are seeking to change. But I want to stress again that nothing is changed without my client's permission. So I always ask for verbal permission before I do any belief changes or healing. And just to reiterate as well is that instant healings and results are created through the creator of all that is. So the creator does the healing and I simply witness it. And I do these sessions on the phone. I also have done them in person, but distance is not a factor. And it just depends upon what my clients prefer. Sometimes we can do Skype or, do FaceTime, whatever it is that they prefer. And one of the reasons that I actually started doing this type of healing work, not only for myself, because I do it on myself, but it's something that I wanted to learn how to do for my mom. And some of you already know, and those of you who don't, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer the same day, almost 3 years ago, that I asked my ex-husband for a divorce. And I wanted to do some theta healing on her because I had read a bunch of stories around other theta healers who had done healing on themselves around other types of cancer that they had. And I'm a big believer in, power of mind, the power of spirit. And so I asked my mom's permission to start doing some theta healing with her around her beliefs as it related to cancer, as well as doing theta on her that was related to clearing radiation from her treatments. And so it's something she's agreed to let me do after her chemo treatments every week because she is back in chemo now. And it is a modality that I do use with my clients now since having gotten certified as a theta healing practitioner. And the results my clients are experiencing, you guys, are incredible. I'm getting messages from clients telling me how free and light and joyful they feel after our sessions together, where we change and shift beliefs. I have clients who I've done soul fragment retrieval and return processes on, where they all of a sudden don't feel that connection. They don't feel that charge anymore when dealing with their ex as they're in the final stages of their divorce. I've also accessed guardian angels for my clients, and also really cute. My oldest son has asked me to do guardian angel work on him, so I did do that for him because we do all have guardian angels that are with us. I've also done manifesting work. And, some fun statistics. I always love sharing statistics, but did you guys know that just by talking about things actually increases your chances of them happening by 30 to 40%? This is where I say that, your mind is really powerful and you create what you think. You create what you think. And then visualizing actually increases your chances closer to 50%. But the theta state increases the chances even more, where it gets to be between 80 and 90%. Now, let's level set a little bit here, guys. You can't manifest someone falling in love with you or manifesting things for other people, right? You manifest for your own life. And it's part of what my clients request, that is one of their requests of the theta work that we do together. And, regardless of all these different ways that I work with my clients, the ways that theta has helped heal them, the way that theta has helped heal me, has been some of the most rewarding work I think I've ever done in my life. Witnessing creator doing the healing has been such a privilege and something that I can't even describe to you guys, that I feel so honored to have the privilege to do this type of work. And I just also want to say that theta healing does not have a religious affiliation whatsoever. It's simply the act of observation. And typically what happens is that when the healing is done, it's actually brought into reality. So I wanted to share this with you guys because it's been something that I've wanted to talk about. It's something that I really wanted to share with you guys the power of, especially for those of you listening who are going through divorce. It is something that can be really powerful, and I would love to open this up for you all to learn more about it, right? You can learn how it is that I do this work. I'm happy to share more examples for you and support you. And you can actually schedule time with me directly if you would like to learn more about it. All you have to do is go to schedulewithwendy.com and you can schedule time with me to learn more about theta healing. I am so honored to have been joined by you all today and for listening to me and this new energy healing modality that I have been gifted with the honor of practicing and to bringing more healing to my clients on a daily basis. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Please feel free to reach out and share. I am sending you all tons of love, light, and joy always, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Divorced Woman's Guide podcast. If you like what you hear, please share this episode with someone you know or spread the word on social media. This is how I reach more divorcees around the world and provide them with the support they need to create their next best life. And I would also love to continue the conversation with you. So please friend me on Facebook, join my private Facebook group, The Divorce Rehab, and follow me on Instagram at Divorce Rehab with Wendy. I'll see you next time.